went to bleeding races, 'twas on the 9th of June, 1862 on a summer's afternoon. I took the bus to Banbury's and she was heavy laden. Away we went along Collingwood Street, that's on the road to bleeding.
You're watching Toon Army TV. This is the big match preview between my club, Newcastle United, and West Ham United this Sunday at St James's Park. Behind closed doors, it's a 2:15 kickoff. Just before I jump into the match preview, if you haven't seen my videos already and you enjoy them, please go along and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. There's a massive chunk of you guys watching the videos and you haven't subscribed. It's free to do so, and it really does help me out in the long term. And also, hit the thumbs up on the video. It takes literally 2 seconds to hit the like on the video if you actually enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Now, if you haven't seen these previews before, what I do is I talk about my club, Newcastle United, first in the first part of this preview. Then in the second part of this preview, I will talk about the opposition. In this case, it will be West Ham United. So if there is any West Ham fans watching, stay tuned to this preview and I'll get onto your bit very, very soon. So let's jump straight into the match preview. So going into it, from a Newcastle fan's point of view, we're safe in the Premier League. We're 13th in the league, as you can see in the table. We're on 42 points and with an outside chance of Europa League football if we can get 8th place, and only get 8th place if we put a run together and don't lose silly games. And with that 42 points that we've got there through hard work. We've got an outside chance of the Europa League. It's going to be tough. There is better clubs with better squads on paper than what we've got. But with safety already assured for next season, we can really experiment now. And Steve Bruce can change his formations. He can play players who maybe haven't had games and need that match fitness. And going into the West Ham game on Sunday, we're going to the game full of confidence after what we did against Bournemouth on Wednesday night, dispatching them 4-1 at the Vitality Stadium. And we're actually 5 games unbeaten in the Premier League, if there's any West Ham fans watching. That's good from our point of view. We've picked up 7 points from a possible 3 available in the Premier League. The games that we had were Sheffield United, Aston Villa and Bournemouth. We had Manchester City in between. That is a very good return from the Project Restart. We started off on 35 points and now we find ourselves on 42 points. And that is all down to the hard work of Steve Bruce and the lads for their fitness levels and taking them into the games, and we've looked positive in every game, especially in the Premier League. And to have picked up those 7 points, that's all down to the fact we've stayed focused and we've hit the opposition where it hurts. So looking at our form, I said we've picked up 7 points from 9, so we did beat Sheffield United 3-0 at St James's Park, a very convincing win, albeit Sheffield United did go down to 10 men. But when the opposition goes down to 10 men, that's your chance to go on and hit them on the counter-attack and beat them. And we did that, especially at home without, any fans. And that was the first game we had at St James's Park without any fans. The second game was against Aston Villa at St James's Park. We did draw 1-1. A game we should have won, really, but very disappointing the way we went about the game. We took the lead, but for the goal which we conceded towards the end was very poor by our standards, and that had to have been addressed going into the Bournemouth game the other day. And then we did take on Manchester City in the FA Cup. Unfortunately, we did get beat 2-0. There's no disgrace in that. We could have played a lot better. We could have taken the quarter-final a lot more seriously, but it's Manchester City. Deep down, we were never favourites to progress out of the quarter-final. And then the last game was the 4-1 win away to Bournemouth, and we played really well in that game. St Maximin with 3 assists. Almiron coming on halfway through the first half, and he got his goal in the second half. We've seen one from Lazaro, and we also seen one from Dwight Gale. He got his 100th goal for his footballing career, so well done to him. And in that game, there was a lot of positives to take from it. The way we went against Bournemouth and hit them on the counter, the way we put them under pressure, the football I was seeing, it was liquid football at times, especially in that first half. Bournemouth could not get the ball off us, and we set up with a 4-3-3 formation in that game against Bournemouth, something I've never seen before from Steve Bruce or any other manager while I've been watching us. And it was quite brave if Steve Bruce to use that formation away to Bournemouth for a side who are looking at that game as a must-win for them, but then to see us go 4-3-3 and to dispatch Bournemouth the way we did, I was a little bit nervous with a 4-3-3, but I was also excited at the same time. But normally we go with the 4-2-3-1 formation, and that's what's been getting us the results if there's any West Ham fans watching. Because when Steve Bruce first took over at Newcastle, we were using Rafa's formation, the 5 at the back, and Steve Bruce gave the lads that freedom to go what they were doing against sides last season under Rafa Benitez, but with new players coming in, it wasn't working, and Steve Bruce finally changed it to that 4-2-3-1 formation, and we've looked rather comfortable on the ball. We're attacking a lot more, and we're defending a lot better as well. And when both of them come together, you start getting results. It was disappointing that he went with 5 at the back against Manchester City, but he quickly went with another attacking formation in the 4-3-3. But going into the match on Sunday, I don't think Steve Bruce, in my opinion, will go with the 4-3-3 formation. I think he will play it safe and go with the 4-2-3-1 formation. And I think he will match West Ham because, let's be honest with you, West Ham United are a better side than Bournemouth on paper. Albeit West Ham, yes, are in relegation bother, but they've got better players that they've paid a lot more money for than Bournemouth, and they've got a lot more about them going into the rest of the season. It's going to be a tough game, and I think Steve Bruce knows that there's no chance that he's going to allow the players just to sit back now and accept that the season's done. We've still got a lot to play for. Steve Bruce wants to go for the top 10, and why can't we push further for that Europa League spot? I'm not deluded to think that we're going to get Europa League, but you've got to have that belief. And with West Ham, it's another winnable game. And I think if we're set out with a 4-2-3-1 formation and we'll play it safe, then we'll give ourselves that chance to go on and try and hit West Ham United on the counter-attack. Now, going into the match on Sunday, we have got a couple of injury concerns. And the two players I will mention now, first up, Sean Longstaff, and secondly, Javier Manquillo. Now, I am talking before Steve Bruce's press conference on the Friday morning. They will go through late fitness tests, but unfortunately I don't think I'm going to be risking these lads in the squad on Sunday because, listen, we're safe, and why risk them if they have got an injury to then make it worse if they were to pull up in the match against West Ham United. So going into the match against West Ham, we need to be on it. We need to be at the same levels that we showed against Bournemouth because we can do it, and the home games are where we should be looking to get all 3 points. It's not going to be easy because West Ham United will come up with a game plan, and we need to play a lot better than we did against Manchester City in the last home game and in the previous home game in the Premier League against Aston Villa, because against Sheffield United we've proven it that we can't score goals, and we proved it the other day against Bournemouth that we have got what it takes to score goals. Now, players to watch out for if there's any West Ham fans watching. First up, I will say Alan St-Maximin. For me, one of the best players at the football club by far, the player that's got the most quality. And there was a stat the other day on Sky Sports where they came out and said if St-Maximin wasn't playing, we've only won 1 game in 14, which is quite bizarre if you ask me. And then when St-Maximin's been playing, we've actually won a lot more games. So that just tells you how important he is to our squad. And without St-Maximin, we're not winning many games, and we do lack a lot of quality, truth be told. And some of the flicks, tricks he does with the ball, and the way he mugs off defenders, the way he just takes players out of the game, that's something we need to see more of course, going into the game on Sunday. And it will be difficult for him because West Ham have got some decent players. But we have got Almiron as well, who I think's had a better season this time around. I said the minute he got that goal against Crystal Palace, he'll go on and he'll grow in confidence and he'll score more goals. And he scored against Bournemouth the other day where he put that ball into the top left-hand corner. He curled it in, and listen, he's making better runs. He's becoming a better player with the formation that we've got. Now, my team lineup, it will be the 4-2-3-1 formation. I am going to play it safe, and this is my lineup with a few changes. So in goal, Martin Dubravka. At right back, I'm going to go with Emil Kraft. At left back, I'm going to go with Danny Rose. My 2 centre backs, first up, captain Jamal Lascelles, and alongside him, Federico Fernandez. My 2 midfielders, first up, I'm going to go with John Joe Shelby, and alongside him, Isaac Hayden. On the right hand side, I'm going to go with Matt Ritchie, if he can't make it, I will go with Lazaro in his replacement. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go with Alan St-Maximin. And in the cam position, I'm going to go with Miggy Almiron. And up front, on his own, I'm going to go with Joe Linton. So that is my start 11 for the game on Sunday. I am going to bring in Emil Kraft for Manquillo. I think he had a really good game on Wednesday against Bournemouth. I think he was solid. I don't think he really put a foot wrong for his first game in a long time. Why not give him that run out now? If Manquillo's got that injury, there's no point risking him, because if he was to play and he was to pull up again, then he could miss the rest of the season. Why not, if we are going to use Manquillo, maybe bring him on in the second half and see how Kraft gets on against the more physical side in West Ham United. So we're going to move on to West Ham United. They come off the back of a good 3-2 win against Chelsea at the London Stadium the other day. A side who, have been battling relegation for the majority of the season. They've gone through a managerial change in David Moyes. And with that 3-2 win, that is only going to give them confidence going into the match against us at St James's Park. And that does worry me, because with us being on 42 points and West Ham United picked up those 3 points against Chelsea, if they could do that against a top 4 side, then they could certainly do that against us. And with that, that puts them in 16th place in the Premier League on 30 points. They're now 3 points clear of the relegation zone. And looking at the game on Sunday, with that confidence, they will be expecting to try and get all 3 points again against us. And we have to try and shut them off where we can and try and hit them on the counter-attack where we can. And winning breeds confidence, and we also come off the back of a win, so I wouldn't be surprised if the game has draw written all over it. And with West Ham being on 30 points, they'll not want to stop there. They'll want to keep pushing and try and pull further away from the relegation zone. They'll sense this as a real opportunity for them to try and get back-to-back wins. Under David Moyes, that would be the first time they've ever done that under David Moyes since he took over West Ham again at the turn of the new year. And that form under David Moyes since he's taken over hasn't been brilliant. They haven't really won that many games, and that's why they find themselves in trouble. Now, do I think David Moyes is the right man for the job? I would say short term until the end of the season, but going into the next season, I think they may have to change manager, and they need to have some ambition at the top to try and get somebody in who has the feel for the club, somebody who can work with their players, because no doubt they've got a decent side and they do have money there to spend. And the stadium, I would say, is not really up to Premier League standard, in my opinion. It's not really up to scratch. Decent stadium, but their fans, deserve a lot better, and they deserve a manager that, has a bit of ambition, a bit like a Slavian Bilic from back in the day. They actually played really well under Sam Allardyce as well, but going forward, I think they do need somebody who's going to maybe take them on to that next level and not make the same mistakes that they've made this season under Pellegrini and David Moyes. Now, with their form, they will be looking to try and, with those back-to-back, with that win, they'll try and do a back-to-back against us. We're not going to make it easy for them. So since West Ham United have come back into the Premier League for the Project Restart, they've only picked up 3 points from the 9 available. They did lose 2-0 at home to Wolves, a disappointing start for them. I thought Wolves were the better side and they deserved the 3 points. Then they lost against Spurs 2-0. No disgrace to lose to Tottenham. They're a good side. They've got some good players, and Mourinho knows how to set up to park the bus and get results with the quality of players that they have down at Tottenham. And then the previous game was the 3-2 win over Chelsea, and they'd be looking to try and make it back-to-back wins, which won't be easy for them, on the afternoon when they come to St James's Park. Now, funny enough, their formation, they set up as a 4-2-3-1 formation, so they actually set up the same way as Steve Bruce and my club Newcastle United. So if we were to go 4-2-3-1, which is what I'm expecting, rather than the 4-3-3, then it could be an even game, because both players on each side will be going, man to man to try and, win the ball back and try and, get up the pitch. And they're both sides are quite defensive by the looks of it. They both want to potentially hit each other on the counter attack, and that's the way we've been playing with the 4-2-3-1 formation. But it does give you a bit more lease of life to attack. And with that, David Moyes is I think he hasn't really got the best out of the squad with that formation because they haven't had that many wins. But who knows with a win against Chelsea where that could go for them for the remainder of the season. But for West Ham on Sunday, I am expecting them to attack. I am expecting them to get in our faces. I am expecting them to try and put us under some sort of pressure because they know that we haven't really got much to play for apart from top 10 and potentially, I'll be quiet, with a Europa League spot that we're trying to battle for. But they know that the Premier League, they're trying to stay in the Premier League, put it that way, and it's on the line because if they don't get anything here, then it's back to square one for them. So I am expecting a very tough, even game on Sunday. I'm not expecting us to do exactly what we did against Bournemouth, but I am expecting them to, potentially make the afternoon a lot difficult than what other fans are probably expecting from a Newcastle and a West Ham fans' point of view. And they'll set out with a game plan. There's no question about that. And from a Newcastle fans' point of view talking, we need to try and match them on the afternoon to try and make sure that we don't give West Ham the 3 points. And we have to make sure that we can keep ourselves alive for the Europa League spot and try and keep ourselves alive of finishing the season very strongly because at the end of the day, we've still got a lot more to play for. Now, players to watch out for on the West Ham side. First up, their striker, Mikel Antonio. He's got 3 goals this season. Now, for me, he's not really a striker, but he has got the pace. Ideally, he likes to be played, on the wing end of the pitch. He's not really that one who likes to feed off the defence. He's one who, likes to try and cut in and make something happen. And you never know if West Ham can get that striker next season, then he can revert back to the wing. But he has got pace, and that's why he's used up front on his own. It probably doesn't help the fact he's on his own. He could probably do with a bit more support, but that's the way David Moyes has set up West Ham. Next up, Jawad Bowen. Now, he's only got 1 goal this season, but he only signed for West Ham in the January. I was a bit gutted that we didn't get him because he would have been ideal for us. He was a signing from Hull, from the Championship, and yeah, he has got his first goal for West Ham. There's probably more expected of the lad. He's technically played on the wing, but could you not play Jawad Bowen maybe up front on his own and Antonio on the wing side? Maybe, but with Jawad Bowen there, they've got someone who's young, up and coming, and can potentially do bits for West Ham if maybe David Moyes changes the formation or they can get something going. And with Jawad Bowen, he's going to become a threat on Sunday, so we'll have to watch out for him. The next one, I'm going to go with Declan Rice, who's getting played in the midfield. Again, he hasn't scored any goals this season, but he's a real threat, and he's been linked with many of the top clubs this season, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does go to one of the top clubs for next season because he is such a good player and he can offer a lot more to a top 6 club. He can become that threat. And lastly, I've gone with Soucek, who has got 1 goal for West Ham this season. He actually scored in the 3-2 win over Chelsea at the London Stadium, and he has had a goal ruled off for offside as well. So since the project restart, he's actually looked decent, Soucek, and we'll have to watch out for him because he'll be full of confidence after the win against Chelsea. And with that, West Ham have got a very good side. We must not underestimate them in any way, shape or form, and we must go about it the right way. And if we do go about it the right way, if we're set up correctly, if we don't take a foot off the gas and think the season's done, then who knows, if we can beat West Ham, then Europe could be on for next season. That's if 8th place can qualify for the Europa League. If Man City are banned from Europe altogether for next season and beyond. But listen, we'll have to focus on ourselves and try and get the job done. And let's just not let the season peter out because our fan base would deserve a lot more, and it will be a difficult game. But for the score prediction, I'm actually going to go for a 2-1 win to the lads. I think we'll have enough to beat them on Sunday. As long as we play our game and we're focused from minute 1 to minute 90, we should get the job done. We're very strong at home. We've only lost 1 home game all season, and that was a home against Arsenal at the very start of the season. But apart from that, we've looked decent, so I do back with for the victory. So that is my score prediction. Let me know yours down below. If you're a Newcastle fan, let me know what side you go with. Let me know how do you think we'll go about it formation-wise, and let me know how do you think the game will go in general. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. It's free. Hit the thumbs up on this video. That'd be massively appreciated. Can we get 20 likes or more? That'd be great. And put your comments down below. I look forward to reading them and responding back to them. Follow me on social media, TOON TV, and I'll see you all in the next one. As I always say, keep it tuned. How are the lads?
Hey, I wanna know how you score that goal.